that's the case, just refresh and it should show up. But listen, guys, I'm super excited about this today. I'm going to share how you can sell 10,000 copies of your book without major media. So no Good Morning America, none of that stuff, or paying a bunch of money for ads. The reality is, I hate to break this to you, you're probably not going to get major media exposure for your book. You're not going to get on Good Morning America. You're not going to land on Oprah. You're not even going to get on The View or Fox and Friends or whatever, right? Now, the reality also is, this is the good news, those things don't move many books, especially in niche markets. Most authors are in niche markets. We're usually not trying to sell our book to the masses. There are very few books that appeal to the masses. We're trying to sell a book to our avatar, to our niche, right? And getting on Good Morning America or, Stephen Colbert, or, what's like the biggest show you can, Oprah, right? Getting on Oprah back in the day, it still doesn't drive as many books as what we're going to talk about today, especially in niche markets. So number one, you're probably not going to get major media exposure. And secondly, paid advertising is freaking expensive and there's no guarantee of ROI. Now, some of these things that I just said here, they're in your workbook, by the way. So if you haven't grabbed your workbook, and I'm going to stop saying that here in a few minutes in case for those of you who got here on time and you're tired of me already talking about it, what are we like 3 minutes in? Make sure you grab your workbook. Alan's going to drop that link in the chat again. But the thing is, it's expensive. There's no guarantee of ROI. You pay Zuckerberg first, right? Before he sends you traffic, you pay him. That's a lot of money and there's no guarantee. And what I'm sharing today is not only cheaper than paid advertising, it's not only a heck of a lot easier than landing major media, but it's also 100% guaranteed to be profitable. There's no cost up front. All right. It is 100% guaranteed to be profitable. It is actually impossible to lose money with what I'm sharing today. Just a reminder, if you have questions, put them in the chat box. Like I said earlier, when you enter a username, make sure it's all one word. Now, as a bit of a background, what I'm sharing today, I've done this with numerous other books, including, Jeff Goins' The Art of Work. I don't know who here's read that book, but when I worked with Jeff, 2015, I believe, Jeff called me up and said, "Hey, would you run my book launch?" I'm sure. Well, he had to go to his publisher and tell him how many books he's going to sell. And I said, "Tell him 15,000. He's like, "I can't tell them 15,000. I'm like, "Why not?" He said, "Well, my last book sold a little bit less than 3,000. Like, I'm not going to 5X my sales." I'm like, "Yes, we are." He and I went back and forth, kind of fought about it. And finally I just said, "Dude, tell him you're going to sell 15,000 books or I'm not working with you." Like, I need somebody who's in this to win, right? I want somebody who's going to sell 15,000 books. And even if they don't, they believe they're going to sell 15,000 books. So he finally went to his publisher, Thomas Nelson, and said, "Okay, 15,000 books, scared to death." Long story short, we did 22,000 pre-orders. Not total books sold to date, but pre-orders from before launch day through launch day. We did 22,000 books, more than 7 times what he'd done in his previous launch. It's also worked for Lewis Howes. Lewis Howes had a number 2 New York Times bestseller, had more than 1,000 people sharing his book on the same day. This was his very first book. I don't know what his second book did. We didn't work on that, but his very first book before he was like a huge name. And yet number 2 New York Times bestseller and more than 1,000 people sharing his book on the very same day. What we're talking about today, it's worked, guys, in dozens of niches. We've done more than 12 bestsellers now, actually just did our 13th. So this slide's actually a little bit outdated. We've done more than 370,000 pre-orders. More than 370,000 just pre-orders. And I'm going to talk a little bit later why the pre-order is so important. For those of you who don't know why the pre-orders are so important, the basic gist, just to skip ahead a little bit, is your pre-orders count to your day 1 and your week 1 sales, which that's how you hit bestseller lists. There's also, we'll talk about incentivizing pre-orders, right? This stuff works. Now I'm going to skip here on what is probably our 8th slide to exactly how we did this. And it's one big word: affiliates. That's the short answer. Now there's a lot of myths around affiliate programs, and there's a lot of misinformation out there. a lot of fake news about affiliate programs. And the biggest one is this, that you need to wait. All right. I'm going to correct that right now. You do not need to wait. The competition, these other authors out there, most of whom, all the people you've seen out there, and I'm not talking about the J.K. Rowlings of the world. I'm not even talking, about the established authors. But when you see these brand new authors come out of left field, especially in the nonfiction market, and they sell 42,000 copies and they're hitting, top of the list. Newsflash, I don't know if you know this, but it is called a bestseller list, not a best written list. That's called the Pulitzer Prize. Arguably, people could argue that the Pulitzer even isn't necessarily the best written book, but whatever. It's a bestseller, means they sold a lot of books. Doesn't necessarily mean it's any good, at least early on. But those people are using what we're talking about today, and they want you to wait to start working with affiliates. They want you to think that working with affiliates, working with, partners is only for the cool kids and the insiders. They are wrong. Okay. Now they have their own reasons for wanting you to think that, of course. I mean, you can go out on a limb and figure that one out, but they're not true. And if you've ever seen these folks that I just kind of, touched on, that they're doing these big book launches, $1 million, book launch, 30,000, 40,000 copies. And you're like, and it seems like everybody's promoting them. And you're thinking, well, I could do that. Well, you're right. And that's what we're here for today. If you have a dream to explode your book sales and ultimately grow your business, I want to show you how to make that happen in our time here today. Again, quick reminder, if you have questions, put them in the chat box. And two things, if the question's about what we're talking about in that moment, Alan has free reign to interrupt me and ask a question. If it's not pertaining to what we're talking about, we are going to answer all the questions at the end, just so you guys know. And then also make sure, one last reminder, to download your workbook so you can follow along. And Alan's dropping that link in the chat there for you. So here's the thing. There's a couple ways you can learn this stuff. And we'll talk about this as we go. You can go watch a bunch of book launches. Try to figure out how to do all this stuff yourself. It's possible. I just want to be clear. You can do that. But you know what? It's also very painful. It took me nearly a decade to get to the point where I had most of this stuff figured out. And yet, today, every single day, I'm learning something new. We just ran a big book launch and I learned so much new stuff. It was crazy. I'm running my own big book launch for January of 2023, and I'm learning stuff every single day. The better way, as Pablo Picasso said, is, good artists copy, great artists steal. And today I want to show you how to steal my best stuff. I want to convince you of two things in our time here today. First of all, number one, an affiliate program is the best way to grow your sales. Again, that's in your workbook, y'all. And the best way to start, build, and grow an affiliate program is to model others. And the great thing about this is it takes the pressure off. All you got to do is copy what I'm going to share today, follow what others are doing, and do it. Now, before I share the how of affiliate marketing, I want to share the why. Number one reason why you do this is you make money before you spend it. You're only paying for performance. I mentioned earlier, it's 100% guaranteed to have ROI when you do this. If you want to run Facebook ads, you have to give Facebook, let's just say $1,000, and then hope you make $1,000 back. With affiliates, they run the ads, they email their list, and if they don't perform, you don't pay anything. You wasted a little bit of time, but it's not going to cost you any money. You're definitely not going to go bankrupt with affiliates. And some of them will hit it big, as we'll talk about. Secondly, it's infinitely scalable. There are virtually no limits to affiliates. Which ties in with number three, there's no guessing at targeting. You don't have to guess who to target for your book. The affiliates do that for you. You don't have to worry about it, which is part of why it's infinitely scalable, because I know I'll use Jeff Goins' book, for example, The Art of Work. We had 4 different audiences promoting. 2 of those audiences converted great and 2 of them not so great. We would never have run ads to the other 2 audiences, to the second 2 audiences, but we had tons of affiliates who were accountable for about 4,000 to 5,000 units, 4 or 5,000 books worth of the sales who promoted the book. Well, if you think about that, it's infinitely scalable basically, and we're not having to worry about the targeting to be profitable. So instead of selling, 17,500 books, we sold 22,000, in part because we had a bunch of people that we never would have paid to run ads to their audiences, but they still promoted the book. That equals more sales. They're also some of the warmest prospects you'll find. Effectively, if you think of an affiliate is basically saying, this book is great, go check it out. And if you think about how that compares to your ad saying, my book is great, go check it out, there's a reason why it's warmer traffic than any other types of traffic you can run. I mean, no other form of advertising. We have studied this. I've been in this industry for 17 years. No other form of advertising converts leads into sales as highly as affiliate traffic does. And the last thing is that success equals more success. So here's what happens. When you start a pre-order campaign with affiliates, say 3 weeks before launch date, over that first week, you've got, hopefully, if you follow what we teach today, hundreds of people, possibly over 1,000. I'm not promising the results that Lewis got. That's is an isolated example. Jeff Goins had more like 400 to 500. But even just 300 people who are all promoting the book on the same day, you know what? That creates momentum. It creates that groundswell. If you guys know the thing where it's like, leading up to a movie release, and it feels like every night, tonight, what is it? The Tonight Show and all those, every one of them is talking about that movie and they have an actor and actress from that movie. That's what you want it to feel like. And so what happens is other people see that and go, well, gosh, everybody's promoting this book. Maybe I should promote it too. So success leads to more success. So the big question, of course, you might be thinking right now is, well, where in the heck do I find affiliates? And when I got first started, I had no idea. That's been my mission for the last 17 years. Finding, recruiting, serving, motivating, growing affiliates. Like I help affiliate marketers and I help affiliate programs explode their business. And so we're going to talk about that in a little bit, where we find affiliates. But first, I want to focus on some foundational work. I'm going to warn you in advance, we're 15 minutes in or so now. This is kind of the boring part, but you need to understand, why would affiliates want to promote a book? Because you're thinking, this book is like $15. I make like $2. Why, I can't pay any commissions on it. We'll talk about that as we go along. The first reason why they would promote it is it's a low ticket item. Promoting a $15, $17, $12 book is a heck of a lot easier for me as a marketer than promoting a $1,000 or $2,000 course. The second thing is, it doesn't require an explanation. Now, if I'm gonna sell you a master class, a 12-week master class that has, this moving part, and there's live calls, and there's I got to explain things to you, right? It's a book. All of us know what a book is. If we don't know what a book is, well, they're not your target audience. How did they get on your email list if they don't know what a book is, right? People know what a book is and they know what to expect. So you don't really have to explain things. Here's the book. Here's what it covers. Here's how it will help you. Bada boom, bada bing, end of conversation, right? So it's an easy sell. It's also an entry point to a funnel. That's in your workbook there. Entry point to a funnel. This is key. This is how your affiliates make money. You're not going to pay them a commission on the book itself. Okay. So we want to have a funnel, and we're not going to go into the logistics of how that works, but they purchase the book either from your site, or they come back to your site. This is why pre-order bonuses are so important. They come back to your site to claim their bonuses. When they enter their information, it puts them into a funnel where it upsells them to things. All right. So those are the three reasons. Number one, it's a low ticket item. Secondly, it doesn't require an explanation. And third, it's an entry point to a funnel where that funnel might sell $300, $400 worth of stuff. And you're paying your affiliate, say, a 40 or 50% commission. That's where they're making all their money. And that's what drives them to promote it from a financial standpoint. So it's an easy entry point, though, because it's a $15, $17 entry point versus, hey, go buy this $2,000 course. So now we want to talk about what you need to attract quality affiliates for your book, okay? This is the how part. First, you've got to have a solid back-end offer. We just talked about that. In order to actually get affiliates to promote your book launch, you have to have a back-end offer that's reasonably priced, so therefore it makes them a decent commission. So a $27 back-end offer is not a very good back-end offer. It could be as low as 97, but typically it's going to be, you like to get 197 or above. The higher the better, but lower still works. So whether you're offering a free plus shipping offer or otherwise, when they get the book, you want to immediately offer them something on the back end. That's, like I said a moment ago, how affiliates get paid. Secondly, you've got to have a high converting landing page. You've got to drive traffic to a high converting landing page. When somebody clicks on the affiliate link, they're sent to an opt-in page. They then opt in to get access to the book, whether it's a free book, a discounted book, or an early offer. And I'm going to show you an example here from Jeff Goins. This was for his, I think his third book, Real Artists Don't Starve. You can see there, when you click on that, get the book and the bonuses, it actually pops up. I can't show this, but it pops up and they enter their email to be able to access the next step. That way you're collecting leads so you can follow up with them, which will make you and you'll sell more books, first of all, roughly 12% more books if you do it this way. Secondly, that means your affiliates are going to make roughly 12% more money, which they love. Third, you've got to pay a solid commission. All right. So you want an offer that converts at least 7% of book buyers into your higher priced offer. And the math on this works that depending upon the price of the book, you convert 20% of the visitors into a book purchase. If you convert, I'm using round math here, 2% of them to the upsell, or 10% of them, then that's 2% of the clicks into the upsell. So just to recap that, if 20% buy the book and 10% of them buy the upsell, that means 2% of the clicks converted into an upsell. And if the average order is $200, just using round numbers, and you're paying a 50% commission, that means, if I'm doing my math right, for every 100 clicks, they're making $200. So they're making $2 a click. That's a pretty good, it's called an EPC, an earnings per click. It's pretty good. So we want to pay solid commissions. Don't be cheap on your commissions. If your mission is to sell more books, be generous on the back end commissions to your affiliates so they'll drive more traffic, make more money, which means sell more books. Speaking of being generous, you got to have a long cookie. All right. Have a lifetime cookie. So what that means is if somebody promotes your book in February and they don't buy anything till April, you're still paying the affiliate. I have a lifetime cookie sounds a lot better than, well, we have a 90-day cookie. That just makes you sound cheap. That just makes you sound cheap, and nobody wants to promote somebody who's cheap. So don't be cheap with the cookie length. Okay. Don't be cheap with your commissions. Don't be cheap with your cookie length. So here's the thing. The finding and recruiting affiliates part. What I'm about to tell you is going to seem so simple, so obvious, so elementary that you might feel tempted to brush it off. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's our company's secret weapon. This is why Jeff Goins sold 22,000 books. This is why Lewis Howes had a number 2 New York Times bestseller. This is why Brian Tracy sold 50,000 books in a day. Now, granted, he's Brian Tracy, and you're probably not going to sell 50,000 in a day, but it was still a lot. The thing is, this is our secret weapon because I know no matter how many people I get on a training like this, most of you aren't going to execute it. It just seems too simplistic. And I know this because I do the same thing, right? Oh, it's too simple. Can't be that easy, right? Now, enough disclaimers and all that. This is how you recruit affiliates for your book. There's 3 things we need to consider. Number 1, when to begin. 2, where to look. And 3rd, the actual tactical side. So let's start with when to begin. You want to start a minimum of 6 months out from your book launch. Very simply put, the people you're reaching out to, which we'll talk about them in a moment, they have a promotional calendar. You are not going to get on it if you reach out and say, hey, my book launches next week. You want to promote it? This is not going to happen. 6 months out. My book launches in January of next year. I'm already right now reaching out to prospective partners. I've already got like half a dozen lined up, and that's from about 25 people I've reached out to. We're starting to really go hard right now, 10 months out. So start at least 6 months out. Immediately after a big launch, if this is going to be your second book, immediately after this launch is a great time to reach out because you're about as hot as you're going to be anytime in the next couple of years. So yeah, your next book might not be launching for 18 months or 2 years. Cool. Still go ahead and reach out now. While the iron is hot, right? And then always be recruiting. Always be recruiting. Even after your launch, still be recruiting people to promote it. Always, always, always be recruiting. So where do we look for partners? Where do we look for these affiliates? Well, first, start with people that you know. All right, start with people that you know. You probably know somebody who would make a good partner, at least one person. So take a moment, write a couple names down. Write a couple names down. Like people, they will promote you because it's you, because they know, like, and trust you, not because they're necessarily going to make the most money or whatever. So start with those people. And you should have written down at least one name, somebody who could promote your book. Secondly, watch other book launches. Watch who's promoting other book launches. And we'll talk more about that here in just a moment. Forums and groups, where affiliates, people who have platforms, email lists, social media followings, where do they congregate? What groups are they in on Facebook? What if they're still in forums? I know it's kind of a little bit old school, but there still are a few. I'm in a couple that are very vibrant because they don't want to be on Facebook. Where are these people? They're out there. The people who will promote your book are already out there. They're already congregating in specific places. So go find them. And then I want to talk about the number one way to find affiliates for your book launch, even if you don't know a single person. I call it the Amazon rabbit trail. I want you to look for affiliates who promoted similar books and similar products. Like this is affiliate recruiting 101. We start by looking for people who promoted similar books and also similar products. There might be a product, a course that's similar to your book that maybe it costs a lot more, but this is a different angle, right? And we want to get them to promote you. So first, if your book is already on Amazon, either as a pre-order or it's already out, I want you to look up your book. If yours is not up yet, I want you to look up a similar book. Then I want you to see who if it's a similar book, see who promoted that book. Google the book, see who promoted it. So who interviewed them on their podcast, who posted blog posts about it. You won't know who emailed, but generally speaking, there's going to be a lot of overlap here. So who shared it on social media, right? And you're going to add these people to a spreadsheet. And then this is why I call it the rabbit trail, because from there, Amazon does this wonderful thing, right? Where it shows us similar books. People who bought this also purchased this. People who, here are some recommendations, right? And we're just going to follow the rabbit trail. We're going to keep going down the rabbit trail. This book, then we're going to click on this book, and then this book, and then this book. Like I'm giving you permission to follow your entrepreneurial ADHD and just keep on clicking down the Amazon rabbit trail all day long. You can also have a virtual assistant do this, by the way. You don't have to do it yourself. And you just keep going and going and going down the rabbit trail. Oh, this person promoted this book. Well, then here's what Amazon says about this book. And then you might even start going down their rabbit trail. Well, this person interviewed this person and also interviewed this person. And now we're on that book. And you just keep going and going and going down that rabbit trail. So, of course, the question is, how do you find these people's contact information? That's the big question here. I don't have enough time to get into that today, step by step, but just let me make this very clear. You can find anyone's contact information. All right. That is not a barrier. It's not that hard to find people's contact information, especially in 2022. Like it's even 5 years ago, it was pretty easy. 10 years ago, I had to work pretty hard to find people's contact information. Over the last 5 years, it's gotten really, really easy. So from a tactical perspective, once you got the contact information, this is where a lot of the secret sauce is. Like we're going to reach out to the people and say, hey, will you promote my book? But we're not going to do that because the single most important thing here is to make sure that you first build relationships. You cannot go into this asking someone to marry you on a first date or even before that, right? One of my favorite authors, Jeffrey Gitomer, says that all things being equal, people want to do business with their friends. And even when things aren't equal, guess what? People still want to do business with their friends. And you know that already. Like, don't you want to do business with your friends? I cannot stress this enough. Build the relationship. Build the relationship. Now, from a tactical perspective, there are two keys to recruiting affiliates. Number one, you got to use various methods to reach out. All right. So you got to use, in addition to email, you got to use email. You got to use physical mail. You got to use text. You got to, if you can find it, you got to use social media, DMs. If they're, if you go to somebody, if you look up somebody and they've got 100,000 followers on Instagram and 14 followers on Twitter, don't DM them on Twitter. DM them on Instagram. That's where they're living. And no matter what method you use, when you first reach out, make sure that you keep your initial contact short and sweet. This is counterintuitive, but your goal when you reach out to a prospective affiliate is not to get a yes response. I know that sounds weird, but your goal is not to get a yes response. It's not to share everything with them about your book. Well, I wrote this book because of such and such, and it's based on my 17-year journey to from here to there, and blah, 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 blah. Nobody cares. Nobody cares right now. If you've ever gotten an unsolicited email that was more than about 8 sentences long, what did you do? If you're like me, you probably deleted it. Your goal is not to get a yes. It's simply to inspire enough curiosity that they write back with 3 simple words. Tell me more. Those are the 3 sweetest words you can read or hear. That starts a conversation. That now gives you permission to write a little bit more. Does it give you permission? By the way, that first email, 4 or 5 sentences at most. Does this give you permission to write 100 sentences? No, but it gives you permission to write 12 or 15, to share things like when the launch date is, who the book is for, to give them a copy of the book. There's another thing. A lot of people make this mistake. They say, here, I've included a copy of my book, person that I don't even know. That's an attachment. And when I see an unsolicited email with an attachment, I also just delete those, because I don't want your virus. But if I said, tell me more, I've given you permission to share that PDF that has a copy of your book. And I want you to share it. As a matter of fact, I kind of want to give it a look and see, what is this going to be beneficial for my audience or not? So we're just getting him to ask for a little bit more. And it might seem like this is overly simple. It is that simple. You start a conversation. It allows you to start a relationship, which grows from there. And I'm going to share at the end how you can get access to our premium training to learn exactly how to find the emails and what emails to send. But for now, just know that it is possible and it ain't that hard. Now, that's just one way to recruit affiliates. I think I've shared like 3 or 4 total so far. I want to hit on a few more real quick, like your customers. If you have customers, if you have clients, ask them to promote the book. Do all of them have big email lists? No. Do most of them know 50 people on social media? Could they do a post on social media and move 10 or 15 or 20 of your books? Yes. They have an intimate knowledge of your material. They have a personal success story with learning from you, perhaps. They know you, they like you, they'll defend you to others. Like, you couldn't ask for better affiliates than your customers, your clients. Your competitors, if you've got competition, the old saying, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. That's a terrible, that is just not valid in this case. Your competitors are not only your competitors, they're definitely not your enemies. They actually can be your best partners if you have a healthy mindset. I want to share a couple of ways you can do that. Number one, as a downsell, could they offer your book to people who went through a funnel but didn't purchase their more expensive product? So they're trying to sell a $500 course, and your book teaches them similar stuff for $15. Maybe they could just promote your book. They couldn't sell them the $500 thing, so they downsell them into your book. To non-buyers, to non-buyers. So what I mean specifically, to be clear, when I say downsell, I mean they actually went through a funnel but didn't purchase the premium product. Maybe they purchased a cheaper product but not the premium product. Non-buyers is someone like, if you've been on my list for 2 or more years and you've never bought anything from me, then I need to find something cheaper to offer them. That's who I'm talking about there. People who are like in a niche within a niche. So for instance, if you wrote a book, hypothetically, it'd be weird if you wrote this, because if you did, please reach out to me. I'd like to know you. But if you wrote a book specifically called How to Do Affiliate Marketing to like specifically for like health blogs, for argument's sake there. You've got a health blog and you've got a book about that. I would like to promote that to my audience of people who bought my affiliate marketing training who are in the health niche specifically. And I've got them tagged. I mean, it's probably 300 people, but it's 300 people, all of whom need your book. So what ways could your book speak to a small segment of someone else's audience, especially someone else's buyers? So competitors or customers, competitors, and live events. This is the costliest way to recruit affiliates, but it's also the most effective. There is no better way than just one-on-one. You go in person to a conference. We're back to doing those now, thankfully, where someone is putting on a conference and it's got a lot of your prospective affiliates. It's got a lot of people who would love to market your book. Now, this isn't for everyone, but maybe it's a conference of female financial bloggers and you're a female author who wrote a book about finance. That'd probably be a good place to go hang out. Maybe it's a conference specifically for, what did I say earlier? Health bloggers, people in the health and fitness niche. That'd be a good place to hang out if you've got a weight loss book. Then a key here is, like we talked about earlier, build relationships first, then ask them to support. Get to know them, ask them about their life, their business, learn how you can support them. If you don't feel the relationship is solid, don't make the ask in person. Focus 100% on the relationship and then follow up and ask later. And then my number one recruiting trick that almost no one uses, I'm not joking, literally almost no one uses it. Oh my gosh, it is so easy. Once you start to get affiliates, ask your affiliates. Now, I hear you thinking, thank you, Captain Obvious, right? But no one is doing this. I mean, I'm not joking. Literally, I have never received an email. Not once have I ever received an email asking me to refer other affiliates, as an affiliate, saying, "Hey, Matt, would you like to do you know anybody who'd be a good fit?" I've never received that email. So think about that. Once you get started, your number one new source of affiliates should be current affiliates. And here's an email you can use. You guys can take a screenshot of this. It's a very simple email. Know anyone who'd be a good fit for our program, for my book launch? If you refer them, I'll make sure you're set up as a second tier affiliate. This is something you got to do on your back end. We don't have time to get into how to do that today, but it's actually super easy with any affiliate tracking system pretty much. Just send them our way. We'll take good care of them. That's the email. Feel free to take a screenshot of it. That right there, however many affiliates you have, if you got 100 affiliates, you'll get another 5 to 25 that way. It's easy as 5 to 25 you'll ever get. Your number one source of new quality affiliates should be your current affiliates. Very simple. Now, before we wrap up, I want to cover a couple of myths about affiliate programs for books. Okay. I mentioned earlier that there's 3 pervasive myths about affiliate programs and selling books. And I shared one earlier, that you have to wait. That's ridiculous. But these myths, I know some of the smartest, most motivated, hardest working people I know, these myths hold them back. And they're going to keep you from exploding your book sales if you believe any of them. And the first one is, well, most of my sales, I have to know a lot of people. I have to do lots of reciprocal promotions. It's where if you promote me, I promote you, or I promote you and you promote me. I got to do those things to get affiliates, right? I got to know all the right people. It's only for the cool kids. I got to burn my list just to get my other affiliates. That's wrong. It's wrong. You don't have to do this. When I started my first affiliate program, I knew nobody. 18 months later, we were doing $1 million a month. I already showed you how to get affiliates. If you literally don't know a soul in your niche, you go to Amazon, go down the rabbit trail. You will find people who interviewed so-and-so, and you will reach out to them. Are you going to get every single one of them? Of course not. But if you do what I shared, you will get a couple hundred affiliates to promote your book launch. Without an astronomical amount of effort. And I can guarantee you, Getting 50 affiliates is a heck of a lot easier than trying to land on, the Tonight Show, and you'll get about 35 times the results. If one good affiliate who mails his list with a link will get you a bunch more sales than going on, some big show where at the end they're like, oh, and you have a book, and yeah, boring. And then you're relying on them to go to Amazon. No, I'm in my email and the link is right there. I click on it, I buy. So just to be clear, this myth, you got to know lots of people. You got to be one of the cool kids or one of the insiders, do a lot of reciprocals. It's absolutely wrong. The other one is, well, most of your sales are only going to come from a few people. This is nothing more than a cop-out. It's nothing more than an excuse not to work with smaller affiliates, an excuse to go out and get your 3 or 4 best buddies, maybe who have a decent sized list, and that you're done. Like, I don't want 1,000 plus people mailing on the same day. I'd rather just have 3 or 4 and, make it easy. Well, then you're not going to sell 10,000 books. You can sell 1,000 that way. Go right ahead. I'm not going to argue with you, but I think that you're here today. You probably want to sell 10,000 books. And I mean, Alan, who's on with this, is a perfect example of like, well, he not a book offer, but he does a different offer, and he's worked with some tiny affiliates selling a $7,000 coaching program, and they'll get like 7 people on a webinar, and he'll close 2 of them. So don't tell me that small affiliates aren't worth the hassle. They absolutely are. And so wrapped up in this myth is kind of like a couple of sub myths that make this big myth seemingly so true here. The first one is you have to personally know all of your affiliates. In other words, you got to be best buds with all your current affiliates. If you're going to have 300-400 people promoting you, 500, 1,000 plus like Lewis did, it's not possible. You're going to have people that you don't even know. And then secondly, the myth of small affiliates aren't worth the hassle. That is just not true. These small affiliates will go out of their way. They will give up an appendage to sell one of your books. All right. They will cut off a finger to sell 50 books. The big affiliates don't, but these people go out of their way. They'll email 5, 6, 7 times. Yeah, it might be a list of 5,000 people, but imagine an email list of 5,000 people getting 6, 7 emails versus somebody, oh, I got this celebrity influencer with 500,000 followers. And they sent out a tweet. Whoopity-doo. I would rather have somebody mailing their list 5, 6, 7 times over the course of a couple of weeks and selling, 300 books than sending one tweet or one Facebook post and selling 4 books. I know the statistics, y'all. You go out and get The Rock. Get The Rock to talk about your book on Instagram. If you follow him on Instagram, I'm not on Instagram, but I know for a fact he's huge. Getting him to do one post on Instagram for your book might move 150 books. Getting a small affiliate, I've got some friends of mine in my mind who have a list of 5 to 10,000 people. Get them to mail 5, 6 times, you'll move more than 150 books. So, you tell me what's easier, to get the guy with 7,500 people on his list or The Rock? Where there's like agents and contracts and all kinds of crap involved. So you want to build an army of loyal affiliates here. Let's look at what happens when you do this. I talked about Jeff Goins earlier. Jeff Goins' Art of Work. His top 3 partners only accounted for 18% of sales. And we had some heavy hitters in that launch. Only 31% of his sales came from the top 10. He had 248 sales move a book. Sell a book, guys. That's an army. When we did his next launch, his top 2 partners from the previous launch did not promote, and we still had a bigger launch. If you go out and only have 20 or 30 affiliates and you lose your top 2, your next launch will be smaller. Guaranteed. Brian Tracy had a number 1 best seller, more than 55,000 pre-orders. His top 3 only accounted for 16% of sales, and he had 508 with a sale. 508 affiliates with a sale. I mean, it's crazy, right? So, when you ignore the conventional wisdom, and let me actually go back to the Brian Tracy slide here real quick. Of those 508, a couple of hundred of those, it was their first ever affiliate sale. And many of them went on to promote Brian and other projects as well. And those affiliates to date are worth millions of dollars. So how do we do this? By completely ignoring the conventional wisdom. It tells you that the myths that I've been sharing, right? It tells you that finding affiliates is hard. It's not worth it. You don't need an affiliate program. You got to do a bunch of reciprocal promos. Don't work with small affiliates. You need to intimately know all of your affiliates. Those are not true. And when you ignore the myth that most of your sales will come from only a few affiliates, when you ignore that, it's a myth, then you can build an affiliate program fast and that lasts. This myth is absolutely busted. The last myth is I have to hire someone to run my affiliate program for me. This is absolutely not true. There will be a day when, maybe you'll hire me. I don't know. This is what my company does. And I'm telling you, you don't need to hire us. There's ways around it. Like you can do without us. There will be a time when you might want to hire somebody like us. We haven't taken on a new book launch client other than the one we worked with earlier this year in years. Probably won't do anytime soon. But you can get most of the results without spending a lot of money on somebody like my agency. All right. Here's the thing. Hour a day. Our clients pay us tens, even hundreds of thousands of dollars to recruit affiliates, motivate them, get them to promote more, pay them, get them to promote again, and all that stuff. There's value in that. But in a moment, I want to share how you can do this stuff yourself. Maybe, with a little help from somebody on your team, if you have one, about an hour a day. I promise you there's no better investment of an hour a day to possibly 10x your book sales. All right, this has worked countless times. Knowing this stuff is beneficial even if you do hire someone. If you do know someone, or if you do have someone who's going to do this, it still pays to know this stuff. When I ran an IT department years ago, I didn't know the first thing about coding, but I learned just enough that when somebody would say, one of our coders would be like, "Oh, that's going to take 7 weeks." And I'd be like, "No, it's not. It takes 4." Like I knew just enough to call BS, right? It pays to know this stuff. Like we've worked with a lot of top tier entrepreneurs who paid us a lot of money to consult them. They had affiliate managers, but they were on the calls too. They were learning along with their team. It pays to know this stuff. It is not a matter of you not having the innate abilities or the skills, right? It's not even a matter of you not having the right contacts. It's simply a matter of you not having the know-how yet. And the reality is, I want to make this very clear. You do not have to hire someone to run your affiliate program for you. You can do this yourself and sell 10,000 books. It's 10,000 pre-orders, just to be clear. You can do this yourself. So let me ask you, I want to know how many of you are actually excited about what we just talked about? Like you're thinking, okay, I can do this. I know how to do it. I've got a pretty good playbook. I can do this. And then how many of you are feeling a little bit overwhelmed right now? Like you've been drinking water from a fire hose. If that's the case, if you're in that second group, I'm going to spend just a couple minutes sharing a special offer that I created for CJ's audience that's going to help you start, build, and grow your affiliate program. You see, for the past almost 17 years now, our methods and strategies, the stuff that I've shared with you today and the stuff I'm going to share with you in a moment, they've been closely guarded. They've been part of our secret playbook. If you wanted access to them, we wouldn't even give them to you, but we would execute on them. You're going to pay at least $50,000, for us to run your affiliate program. More than worth it. But today you got a lot of great info to help you get started with your affiliate program. And if you want to take it to the next level, what I'm about to share is especially for you. It's called Find Affiliates Now. On that journey that I shared earlier, I discovered a system for finding affiliates, getting them to sign up, getting them to say yes, getting them to promote like crazy. That's the key. Like we weren't even able to touch on that today. And I was able to share a little bit of it earlier. But this is the system that led to me building $1 million plus affiliate program in less than 18 months. It's the system that led to me, running book launches where we sold tens of thousands of copies of books and pre-orders, where we 7x'd, 10x'd. In one case, I've got to do the quick math, but 18x'd their book sales from the previous launch. This is what allowed, me and my company, we've run affiliate programs for companies like Adidas and Shutterfly, Michael Hyatt, Ray Edwards, Lewis Howes, Jeff Goins, Brian Tracy, Zig Ziglar. I mean, the list goes on and on. Ryan Levesque, Stu McLaren, dozens of other entrepreneurs and companies. This is the system that I'm talking about. We've literally been able to work with more than 300,000 affiliates over the past 17 years. This system has been my competitive advantage for finding the right affiliates and our clients. And like I said, it's been a complete secret. And so last year, for the first time ever, I revealed the quick and easy way to find affiliates now. And not only to find them, but to actually reach out to them, to get them to say yes to promoting you, keep them promoting you for years to come, all in about an hour a day for 5 days. Like, that's it. This is not a course that you go through and takes and I've been through these, many of these courses I've been through, they're like 50-hour courses and I love them. They're super awesome. My team's going through one right now. That's not this one. This is one where you watch and you take action in about an hour a day. Watch and take action. The total is 1 hour per day. It's 5 days long. It's not about filling you with more information. You don't need more information. You don't need more theory. You don't need more to your already busy schedule. Who's here is busy. Hey, what I want to do is add 50 hours of stuff to my life. Nobody wants to do that. So we cut right to the exact proven strategies that I've used for more than a decade to find top affiliates and get them to promote. This is not fluff. This is not theory. This is 100% practical and proven. In fact, I'm going to tell you up front that building a successful affiliate program, doing a successful book launch, it's less about knowledge and information than it is about simply taking action and doing the work. I'm not going to lie to you. The stuff I shared earlier, going down the Amazon rabbit trail, if you choose to do that yourself and not hire that out, it's not easy, but it works. It's not easy, but it's worth it. If you want to sell 10,000 copies of the book, newsflash, you're not going to do that sitting around doing absolutely nothing. But it can be hard if you don't have the right information. I wish I had this information when I first started out, because with Jeff Goins, we did 22,000 copies. I guarantee you, if I had this information, I'd have done 40. A lot of heartache, a lot of trial and error, a lot of stress, a lot of frustration. I want to save that all for you. So this is the part where I have to say things like, we don't guarantee results. What worked for someone else might not work for you. Results may vary, and blah, 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 right? I'm just going to skip that, because I'm going to tell you flat out, if you apply what we teach and find affiliates now, heck, if you apply what we shared today, actually, you will grow your affiliate program fast. You will scale it to levels you can hardly imagine. That is a promise. That is a guarantee. You've seen results throughout. I've talked about Jeff and Brian and Lewis. Here's a few more. Chandler Bolt, self-publishing school, increased his year-over-year sales more than 400%, 7 times as many affiliates. He diversified his affiliate base. Now he's an industry leader in his niche. Jeff Goins, who I shared earlier, 22,000 books, 22,000 books, multiple bestseller lists, all by increasing his number of affiliates and applying what we teach. All because he built what you want, which is an army of affiliates. That's for your workbook. You want an army of affiliates. He built what you want, a diversified, long-lasting army of evangelists for your book who keep promoting you book after book, product after product. Now, the reality is we simply can't do what we did for Chandler and Jeff for everyone. We can't do it. So the question, of course, was last year was, how in the heck can we help more people learn this stuff? I know it works. I know it's changing lives. It's helping people go from selling less than 3,000 books, Jeff, to more than 22,000 books. And that's just pre-orders. How can we get this in more hands? I didn't want to create just another course. Not everyone can afford $50,000 worth of coaching or consulting, right? So that's why my team and we created Find Affiliates Now. If you're like most people, you bought plenty of courses, you never put anything into action, you've invested thousands of dollars with nothing to show for it. Here's the thing. You're not alone. All right. In fact, the statistics show, this is crazy, 90% of buyers of online information courses don't finish them. 95% never implement a single thing from the course. Why? Because the courses are focused more on knowledge than action, right? Like, oh, I just want more information. No, I want implementation. And so they drag on for months and months and they get no results. I mentioned earlier, this is not what Find Affiliates Now is about. I'm going to teach you exactly how to find affiliates, how to get them to say yes, how to get them to promote you. I'm going to give you the exact templates, checklists, tools, copy paste emails that we use to get affiliates. I'm going to walk you step by step through the process. But here's the thing, it's not about the information. It's about getting you to actually take action. It's about helping you to find your first few affiliates who actually promote you, who actually make you money. Like I mentioned earlier, that's what we did for Lewis. Again, just imagine 1,000 plus people in a single day mailing about your book. That is the power of an affiliate program. Ray Edwards, more than 2x'd his annual revenue. He was already an established entrepreneur. His entire annual revenue in 1 month. Pretty amazing, right? Even if you're overseas, Nick Stevenson, he lives in a faraway land known as England. I really, 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 really wanted to help him see if I could work the number 1776 into this, but I couldn't. He was wildly successful before we worked with him. We helped him triple his launch size, double his email list in only 3 weeks. Here's what Nick said, 20,000 new leads, right? Hundreds of thousands of dollars, took his business to the next level. It worked for him. It worked for Ray. It worked for Jeff. It worked for Lewis. It worked for Brian. It worked for Michael Hyatt. Now you're thinking, yeah, but it worked for them. But what about for me? I don't have a huge following. I don't have a lot of affiliates already signed up. Half the people we work with have no following, no affiliates before they learn from us. And so I'm just want to be clear, like, yes, you can sell 10,000 books, even if you have no following and no affiliates right now. No following, no affiliates, you can still sell 10,000 books, provided you apply what I shared in this training today and what I share in Find Affiliates Now. It's not going to work if your book launches next week or even, the first part of April. All right. It's not going to work. Get ready for the next one though. And get ready. You can do evergreen. It's just not going to work for that launch. But if you plan ahead, follow what we teach and actually execute, you can do it. I've seen it done time and time again. This is one of our students, Alex Putnam, said, knew no one, no affiliates. 9 months later, he's an industry leader with more than $370,000 in sales through a book launch. Regardless of where you're at with your business, this course is going to give you the skills, the strategies, and the confidence to take your business to the next level. So real quick, when you sign up, you're going to get a 5-day action-oriented program. Right now, if you go to my site, you can join Find Affiliates Now for $497. Right? I'm going to share with you how it's not going to be that today. But you can get it, just the course. You're not going to get any of the other stuff I'm talking about, but you can just go. It's there available on my site. You also are going to get, this is because you're coming from CJ and because CJ is awesome. Just for those of you who don't know, like CJ and I go way back about, 8, 9, 10 years ago when I bought his little mock-up shots or whatever it is. It was called something different back then. I needed to create a 3D ebook cover and I bought it. And I paid him like $20, and then like a year later, I happened to notice that he bought something from me and I was like, oh my gosh, we should talk, so because it's him, I want to give you guys some extra stuff. You're going to get my full suite of affiliate recruiting swipe files. So these are basically copy and paste emails that you can use to recruit affiliates. You're going to get our promo plan templates. These literally took us dozens of hours to create. We're just going to hand them to you. So these are the templates you will use to get your affiliates to promote more and need a lot less handholding. We have proven time and time again, just giving them a simple promo plan has been proven to increase affiliate sales by as much as 25%. This is a simple spreadsheet. but we're going to give it right to you. We've also got 6 exclusive bonus lessons. I didn't want to add a bunch of bonuses, right? I did not want to clutter up the course, but we did want to include these 6 exclusive lessons you're not going to find anywhere else. We've got a couple of lessons on tracking and follow-up. I've got a lesson on how to turn customers into affiliates. We take a deep dive into that. How to use leaderboards, how to use Facebook groups to find affiliates, how to get referrals. So we walk through those. These are, total about 30 minutes worth of lessons, but they are things I've literally never shared, and they are super succinct. Like, here's exactly how to do this to find, 50 to 100 really good affiliates. So as you can see, total value, if you purchased all of this separately, and some of this stuff's not even available anywhere else, would be $2,567. Now, I'm not going to charge you that because of CJ, but if I did charge you that, and all I did was show you how to recruit the right affiliates and build an army of awesome promoters for your book, wouldn't it be worth it? Think about that. When we work with coaching clients, they pay us $2,500 for just 1 hour. We require a commitment of at least 4 hours. And you can probably see why people pay $10,000 or more to sell 10,000 books. It's $1 a book because it's not a cost, it's an investment. But I'm not going to ask you to invest anywhere near that today, though. You've already seen it's worth $25,600 or $2,567. It's not worth $25,000. Actually, I think it is, but it's not. $2,567. It's a great deal. Because of CJ, I'm going to give you a special offer. All right. So I want to put this in perspective for you. Like I said, you could go to my site, find affiliates now, not even get the bonuses for $497. But because you've invested this time with me today, you've proven to me you really want results. I'm including all these bonuses, and I've actually got one more special bonus I haven't even mentioned yet. I'm making you a special price offer. So again, if you were to hire me one-on-one, this would cost you like a lot, just an astronomical amount of money. I'm not even going to charge the $497 that the course normally costs. Today, your investment is only 3 monthly payments of $147 or just $397 if you pay in full. So you save $100 off the regular price just for being here today. So remember, if you want to end the frustration, you want to end the confusion, you got to take action. You have an opportunity to learn the proven, easy, and fun way to grow your book sales from scratch. And let me make something very clear real quick, because I want to take your questions. We absolutely guarantee results if you follow our plan. Absolutely guarantee results if you follow our plan. We offer our steal our stuff guarantee. And that means if you really wanted to, you can go through the whole course. You can log in, download the templates, download the checklist, the case studies, the swipe files, everything, right? Request a refund. Now, I know you're not going to do that, but that's how much we believe in this. So you have the full 5 days after you start to take action. If you find it's not for you, you get a full refund. No questions asked, no hard feelings. So again, the real question here is it worth taking just a few minutes to consider this, right? Even if it does only half of what I've claimed today, it will more than pay for itself in your first book launch. More than pay for itself. Jeff did 22,000 copies, and quite frankly, we messed everything up. I said it earlier. I think we would have done 40. If I'd known what I share and find affiliates now, we'd have done 40,000 copies. You don't have to struggle like we did. So just go to findaffiliatesnow.com/action. This is for you action takers, right? findaffiliatesnow.com/action. Total value of $2,567 for an investment of only $397. Go there, click on enroll. Just easy to use, secure order form. You can do it in just a few minutes, and sign up today. All right. But I didn't mention one thing that you get for being here today. These are 2 extra special bonuses that you get for being on live. All right. These are for being on live. Now, when you start officially, we're going to start Find Affiliates Now next Monday. But for watching this training day, you're going to get two things. Number one, you get to start right away. All right. So officially we're starting next Monday. You'll get a 4-day head start on everybody else. Number two, we're going to show you how to train your affiliates. So we're going to give you our affiliate training package. This is a behind the scenes of our affiliate trainings. This is huge because you're going to go out and you're going to get 400 or 500 affiliates and you're going to be like, okay, how do I get them to actually do what I want them to do? Well, you need to teach them. You need to show them what to do. We're not only going to give you a video that walks you through it. It's about a 2-hour video that walks you through how to train your affiliates. It's actually an actual training that I did for one of our clients. Clients who pay us an astronomical amount of money. We're also going to give you a downloadable template of the slides. So I think we've got it in PowerPoint. We've got a PDF version and a Keynote version of those slides. So you can download the slides. And that means you can take them and copy and paste them and edit them however the heck you want to. In addition to that, you're going to get the templates that we use for our affiliate trainings. There are some things like how to create a bonus package and some other stuff that you'll want to give to your affiliates. You can take our templates that we give to our affiliates and the affiliates for our clients. You can copy and paste them. I mean, you want to tweak them and add your logo to the top and stuff like that. And then also the worksheets. So there's some worksheets that we give to affiliates. You're going to get those and all the spreadsheets that we give to affiliates and all that fun stuff. So you're going to get all of that as a special bonus for being on today. That will not be available to anybody who is not on actually watching this. Okay. So if like the people who join, Sunday and aren't watching this, they're not getting these extra bonuses here. So that affiliate training package, just by the way, we normally sell that for $997. So actually, no, we sell it for $1,000. And it's either $997 or $1,000. Sorry, I don't remember, but it's $3. No, it says on the screen, it sells for $1,000. Yes, I knew we sold it for close to $1,000. So there, I'll put that up on the screen. So again, you get the full course, the swipe files, the promo plan templates, the bonus lessons, all the, what else did we talked about? You get access now. You get the exclusive training package for $1,000. All that for just 3 payments of $147 or $397. You can sell 10,000 books. You can do it. I'm going to show you how inside of Find Affiliates Now. I hope to see you inside of there. I'll repeat what I said earlier, and I hope I've convinced you of these two things. Number one, an affiliate program is the best way to grow your book sales. And secondly, the best way to start, build, and grow an affiliate program is to model others. So get out there, start your program, study what others are doing, model, copy, steal, and build it into something great. Grow it beyond your wildest imagination. Again, just go to findaffiliatesnow.com/action. That's your special URL for today. That'll get you all the extra bonuses and the $100 discount. So make sure you go there. Don't just go to findaffiliatesnow.com. That'll charge you full price and you're not going to get some of the bonuses. So findaffiliatesnow.com/action. Now, Alan, you still with us, bud?
I am. We got several questions that
let's do it. Let's answer some questions.
So first one, David Alexian, he threw out a couple of things. Will this work for books that are already out and for fiction as well?
Yeah, absolutely. On the first part of that question.
Okay.
There's a couple of things. Number one, just because you've launched a book previously doesn't mean that you can't relaunch it for various reasons. Mm-hmm. Number one, you could relaunch it, so to speak, for any reason you choose. You could relaunch it. You could come out with a new edition. That's one reason. Or you could just decide to run a special promotion. And that special promotion is anybody who purchases my book. Let's just say your book came out last August. But this June, you're going to run a promotion. Anybody who buys my book from June 10th to June 24th gets these bonuses. That creates a launch-like atmosphere and incentives for affiliates to promote in a very short window, and creates a little bit of scarcity, which is good. And then, so that's one thing you can do. Secondly, like I said, you could do a re-release or something like that. Will it work for fiction? Yes. It is. It's a little bit more. There's some more, a little bit more nuance to it than nonfiction, especially than how to. And how to could be business, could be all kinds of stuff. Could be hobbies, lose weight, all those things. Personal growth.
Mhm.
Fiction's a little bit more of a challenge, and the way that we've seen it with those that's worked really well is is into funnels where the offers were like bonus chapters, audiobook, in addition,
Mhm.
get the audiobook with like especially if it's what's the word where you narrate and there's like dramatized, like a dramatized audio version, you know things like that. Author's notes. Keep in mind that people who pre-order fiction books are typically fans.
Mhm.
They're bigger fans. So having them, get like author's notes or things like that, bonuses, just think about what kind of bonuses you could offer for fiction books, but it definitely works.
Yeah, cool. And you really kind of answered his next question. He said he had no idea, and this is right down your alley, Matt. I love this question, but because this is what so many people are thinking is they have no idea what they can upsell to drive affiliates to sell a fiction book. This is probably just from the self-help book, so that's like a 3 slow pitch there. So you knock that
Yeah.
one out of the park.
Yeah, I have nothing to add. I mean, I've seen so many different things offered from a fiction standpoint. I mean,
Right.
it's I mean the list is virtually endless. I mean, gosh, just even off the top of my head, um, for fiction, I mean, people who read fiction books are even down the line. I would not recommend this being a first offer, but they are disproportionately more likely to be interested in learning how to write. So if you've
Mm,
got something that, even just like an audio course where you walk through your writing process, you know, um, that works. I think about, I mean, gosh, just off the top of my head again, for fiction, writers. Um, I said earlier the author's notes. If you've got so author's notes, like one things that I've seen really done well. I've got a friend of mine who actually does this for a pretty big time fiction author, but he puts together the companion books, and the companion book is it's like the book where the author kind of like says what they think the character looks like and
mhm.
gives some of the backstory that's not in the book. And so like J.K. Rowling does a great job of this, where it's like, here's what I think Dumbledore would look like, you know and things like that. The companion books um are really popular, that he's done. um what is it called, like a book group,
Mhm.
having like a book group leaders guide. Again, people who uh actually lead book groups would be interested in that.
Yeah,
um and so there's all kinds of things. If it's a fiction book but there's any kind of like other meaning, so if it's just fiction just for the sake of enjoying fiction. I've never read Stephen King, but that I know of, there's not a whole lot of social commentary. Maybe there is, I don't know. But I know with like John Grisham, there's social commentary. So,
mhm.
okay, here's a book about a trial about a youth who's accused of murder and he's on death row. Okay, there's a social commentary to that. So, is there something that, maybe you, where it's like John Grisham talking about the death penalty? You know, see what I'm saying? Like, fiction where there's like a lesson in it. Well, then having a 45-page companion guide that actually walks through just the lessons, and has
Absolutely.
things like that. There's all kinds of things you can do.
Cool deal. Yeah, so lots and lots of stuff for that. And this one came from an on 3625 that greetings from BC and EU. They're wondering how this would work for a 50 to 100 times smaller non-English population. I mean, they were saying, I mean, this is practical, good stuff. Thank you, but just wondering for that in their population.
Yeah, I mean, if the book is truly only written in one language that has, you know, literally 100 times less than uh, English speakers, I'm going to go out on a limb and say there's, I could Google it real quick, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say there's probably 2 billion English speakers in the world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm actually going to, English speakers in the world. I wasn't that far off, 1.35 billion. Okay, so let's say it's 100 times less than 1.35 billion. If I'm not mistaken,
Mm-hmm.
that's that would be 1.3. I don't even know how to do the math on that, Alan. That would be 13.5 million. Yeah, 13.5 million. You still have an audience of probably 13 to 25 million people.
Mm-hmm.
I realize there are languages that literally have less than like 2,000 speakers in the whole world. You know, if that's you, yeah, you're right. You know, if it's only if there's less than maybe 50,000 speakers of your language, it's just not going to work. You're gonna have to get the book translated and, and scale up from there. But if you've got 13 million, 25 million speakers of your language, yeah, I mean, it works the same. It's just, it's all about scale. Yeah, you're going to sell less books than somebody. You're going to sell less books. Surprise, right? When you only have 15 million people that could potentially buy it versus whatever I said a moment ago, 1.35 billion. Yeah. English is a great language to write a book in. It's we're doing all right with that language, I guess.
That's right. Translation for sure. So, and they asked another question: can you recommend some affordable software to have a web shop to support automatic affiliate rewarding?
There's a couple that we can recommend that have it kind of all tied in together. Number one would be Clickfunnels. The second one would be Infusionsoft. The third one from there would be if you're on WordPress, you could get something like Post Affiliate Pro that works really well. And WP Affiliate is another one that works really well. If you're really going to set up a solid funnel, as much as it drives me crazy sometimes, ClickFunnels would be my recommendation. And I'm not recommending it because I love it. I'm recommending it because I believe it's the best out there for purposes of book funnels, and especially when you have the affiliate component. It's my team knows, and I joke about it all the time, that ClickFunnels, it drives me nuts, and ClickFunnels has almost become a profane word in our company, but it's still the best. I want it to be perfect, and there's nothing perfect out there, sadly.
Sure. And a lot of people asking for the replay. Had some confusion on the start time, so we're going to be posting that.
Yeah, we'll be sending out an email tomorrow with that.
Absolutely. So if you opted in for it, you will be getting the replay. So not to worry. Let your heart not be troubled. We will get you that. So cool deal. Lots of good stuff as always, and with everything you train on, Matt. So anything else that you want to cover? I think we've got all the questions answered in the chat right now.
Yeah. Just remind everybody, make sure you check out findaffiliatesnow.com/action. That's where you can get everything you see on your screen there for, literally, I have to do some quick math. We're talking a lot of money off. What are we talking here? Let me do, $2,200 roughly off. There's the math. So actually, yeah, 3,200, 30 something, over 3,000. We'll go with that. $3,000 off. It'll walk you through step by step. Again, how do you actually find the affiliates? We covered a little bit of it today. There's a lot more. How do you actually reach out? That's the part we didn't get to. I told you earlier. Remember what I said. Keep that first message short and sweet. Don't try to sell the whole thing to them all at once, but keep it short and sweet. Well, I walk you through that in the course. And then how do you follow up with them? How do you manage those follow-ups? And then what do you do once they say yes? How do you actually get them on board, and how do you get them promoting? We go through all of that in Find Affiliates Now. So hope you'll check that out. findaffiliatesnow.com/action. So you can get all those bonuses that you see on your screen there. With that, guys, we will wrap up. And I just want to say thank you to CJ. I know he couldn't join us today. I'm super bummed about that, but wanted to say thank you to CJ, and thank you to everyone who was on today. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
See you guys soon.